Hello! My name is Second One 814, and I just got back from seeing X Men Apocalypse. So yeah, the newest X Men movie. So did I like this movie? Yeah, so. It was. Oh, and I have to say, it wasn't a bad film. But at the same time, it wasn't really a good film either. It was just kind of average. It's just, okay, so let's go over the plot of this movie. Basically, I thought thousands of years ago, where the ancient Egyptians were or I should say, some of the ancient Egyptians portrayed the apocalypse, the first mutant, and locked him away. Hey, and so thousands of years later, a strange call sets him free. He goes around gathering mutants and wanting to rebuild the world. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh yeah, and then the X-Men can stop him. But that's basically it in a nutshell. Because that's basically what happens in this movie. I mean, I have to say, they definitely know how to use their runtime. I wasn't horribly bored. I mean, I was still somewhat interested. It wasn't like Fantastic Four, where I was desperately waiting for the thing to be over. So yeah. So anyway, this movie was pretty average. And so, basically, this movie, I mean, excuse me, lost my train of thought there. So yeah, this movie starts out in ancient Egypt, where Apocalypse is about to transfer his consciousness into the body of another human being who can heal. Yeah. So basically, he's doing that. He's transferring his consciousness into the body of another human being. In this big ceremony, because some of the people in ancient Egypt worship him like gods. But during this ceremony, only a couple of the soldiers betray him, and they knock a bunch of they knock stones out, and basically he collapses pyramid and seal him away. So, and then we cut to modern day. Well, I shouldn't say modern day. This film takes place in the 80s, but anyway. So yeah, we got to the 80s, and essentially, we start to see all the mutants coming together. We see Nightcrawler, Angel, Cyclops, Mystique, Psylocke, Jean Grey, everybody. Basically, they introduce the characters in their own sort of characters in their own segments. And it's like Nightcrawler and Angel introduced. They're at this bar it's not a bar. Excuse me. I guess you could say it's an underground fight club. Where they have mutants fight. So, and then they bring Nightcrawler in, and basically Nightcrawler and the two fight. Well, Mystique is there. And Mystique basically sets them free because they're being forced to fight. So, Mystique frees them, and Nightcrawler has Angel and Nightcrawler. Angel goes away. And Mystique and Nightcrawler escape. So, basically, he and then the Cyclops is young in this one. He is still he's in high school. We see him introduced basically in a thing where he's in class and he starts to have problems with his eyes. He goes to the bathroom shop, and then there's a school bully who's who's accusing him of looking at his girl, and basically of it, girl, all Scott's hiding in the bathroom. And then eventually, and then he loses control of his powers and blasts the door off the bathroom stall. So yeah, uh, we see, and basically they all get their segments like that at Jean Grey, he, 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 Miss, he, and everybody else. Sorry. So, basically, Psylocke, basically, in Egypt, and CIA agent, forgotten her name already. It's kind of she doesn't have. I mean, she doesn't have that big a role in this film, but I mean, she was kind of a background character. Or I mean, I wouldn't say she's a background character because she's there the whole time, but she's just not on screen for very long. So basically, she's in Egypt, and we see this cult awaken Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse it comes out into the human world and recruits his mutants: Storm, Psylocke, Angel, and Magneto. And basically, Storm is essentially a street thief in Cairo, in Egypt, and then she gets cornered by some of the shopkeepers she stole from. Fox comes out and basically demonstrates his powers, and essentially essentially saves her, and recruits her. Her, well, first he follows her back to her house, then he basically recruits her by giving her the ability to control her powers, and basically amplifying them. Next we go to Psylocke, who, by the way, is an assistant to some guy who gives out information for money, and helps other mutants get to where go into hiding. So yeah, they go there. Psylocke, he gives Psylocke a power upgrade. She joins him. They recruit Angel, who is now hanging out in a building after being released from the fight scene. Apocalypse takes him and replaces his normal wings with metal wings, from which he can shoot razor feathers from. And of course we have Magneto. So basically Magneto is a worker at an iron factory in Poland, and essentially he's here hiding out. Because essentially he goes by the name Eric, and basically Eric, but yes, he is a mutant, and basically prior to this he went killed on a spree that I guess that left a lot of people dead. I'm sorry, I haven't really kept up with the series. I didn't see the X Men Days of Future Past or X Men First Class, so yeah. Basically, what happens is the myth. They come for him. Basically, they kidnap his stuff. A bunch of police officers come for him when somebody at his work calls the police after he saves one of them. Saves the worker from a falling vat. And so, oh yeah, he fall. Ah, they come for him. He tries to turn himself in, but apparently his daughter's also a mutant. Although I'm not entirely sure what. Although I guess her powers are that she can influence animals or but I should mention that. By the way, the police come with the bows and arrows. They don't have their badges on, and they're all using wooden bows and arrows, basically to protect, so Magneto can't manipulate their weapons. So, oh, they try to take him in, but during the process, his wife and daughter are killed. Because his daughter starts influencing a bunch of birds to attack the soldiers, the police officers were there, and one of the one of the young idiot ones gets spooked, shoots an arrow, and shoots his wife and daughter dead. Yeah. And so then basically the next day at work, he goes to work and is prepared to basically use his powers to essentially straight up murder all of them. Apocalypse comes in and buries all the workers. Yes, he can basically manipulate things to steal people inside a terrain. And he recruits Magneto and all that. So basically, and that's basically how he recruits his followers. Yeah, they basically, that's if you saw the trailer. Yeah, they basically use the 4 followers as the 4 horsemen and all that. Yeah, that's the yes. So basically, if you've forgotten, his 4 followers are Storm, Psylocke, Angel, and Magneto. So, well, after that is recruited them. Basically, what happens is, basically, is blah, 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 blah. Well, he's been recruiting that, and I should stop this. Blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, my train of thought is derailing. I should stop to mention that at his at all the time. Well, we see that basically this movie jumps back and forth between Apocalypse scenes and the other mutant scenes. Essentially, after Scott goes crazy, he and loses control of his powers at school. Well, normal school that is. He goes and his brother Havoc goes and basically his brother Havoc comes in, recruits him into Xavier's special school. So, basically, it goes back and forth, and we see signs where Scott, and we see scenes and where Scott gets enrolled in the school, how he shows Xavier how he can't fully control his powers. So yeah. So basically, it jumps back and forth between, or there are scenes where Xavier Mystique comes to the school to basically drop off Nightcrawler, get him enrolled, and basically him, Nightcrawler, basically Nightcrawler, the Cyclops, Jubilee, and Jean Grey. Yeah, they just had to go to the mall. And so they go to the mall, which we only see about one scene. Of them in the mall. Which is weird. But anyways, so basically then Apocalypse comes in, because Apocalypse can basically teleport you. Well, essentially what happens is, Apocalypse has a bunch of powers that he's accumulated over the millennia. And essentially, Mystique comes to the school or to let Charles Xavier know that Magneto has resurfaced. And so Charles Xavier uses a Cerebro to try and to make contact with Magneto, but Magneto is the other mutants, and Charles is communicating with him. Apocalypse comes in Apocalypse sees into Magneto's mind, and goes into Charles' mind, because yes, he can control people's minds. Basically, and uses Magneto, and basically, he then uses Xavier's mind to basically control all the nukes of the world and disarm them. Yes, he gets them. He gets everybody to launch all the countries in the world. He takes control over the people in charge of their nukes, and has them launch them into space. And blow them up, disarming them. So, basically, he then, after that, where Beast goes and destroys. Well, actually, no, he has Havoc destroy my Cerebro. Excuse me. And then, while they're in the hallway, the Apocalypse and his followers come in, kidnap Xavier, and cause havoc. Or Havoc tries to stop them, and basically causes a big explosion that destroys the school. But then we see Magneto's son come in, who can run really fast. I'm sorry, I don't follow the X-Men. I don't follow X-Men, so I have no idea who he is. Basically, he saves everybody in the school right before it blows up. Well, I should say almost everybody, because Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, aka Kurt, and Jubilee return from their trip to the mall, only to find the school will basically be completely destroyed, and Havoc is nowhere to be seen. Yes, the speed guy missed Havoc. Oh well. Well, I should say oh well. But anyway, yeah. So after that, the military comes, and just basically uses a sonic weapon to knock almost everybody out, except for the people who came back from the mall. And kidnaps Mystique, Mystique, the CIA agent. Yes, she's there. The Speedy Dude, and Beast. So basically, and then basically Jean Grey, Kurt, and Scott, or I should say Cyclops, Jean, and Nightcrawler go after them. Yes, they somehow survived. And know that Jubilee doesn't join them because Jubilee has almost no appearance in this movie. So yeah, they go in to the facility. Run by William Stryker, who's now a colonel. Well, basically, they go into the facility. They find and they're trying to find a way to free their friends, and they eventually find Wolverine. Yes, Wolverine. They unleash him, and basically he goes on a killing spree throughout the facility, which I admit was very entertaining. I mean, come on, it's Wolverine. Especially seeing all of the soldiers acting like dumbasses. All the soldiers acting like dumbasses. is when is constantly firing at him, and when it's clearly not doing any good. So yeah, and then they finally do free their friends. They go after Apocalypse, who, by the way, who still has the professor, and is essentially convincing Magneto, as now has Magneto after basically teaching him how to who use his powers to cause epic destruction. Basically, the Apocalypse, he takes his professor and his followers to this one place. I think it's Egypt. I'm not sure. Doesn't tell us. If it did, I missed it. But anyway, he takes his followers to this area. Uses Charles Xavier to cast a message just to all of humanity, because Charles can do that, and through Apocalypse, he's able to Apocalypse is able to amplify his powers to send that message to all of humanity. So then, basically, Apocalypse uses his powers to build himself a new pyramid, and after teaching Magneto how to reach deep and cause mass destruction with his powers, basically has Magneto stuck. Magneto will cause worldwide magnetic destruction, action using his magnetic powers, and then basically Jean Grey, a Mystique, Nightcrawler, or Cyclops, Speedy, that's what I'm going to call him from now on. Beast and the Cyclops and the CIA agent. I do not remember her name. I'm sorry. Basically, they go, or they try to stop Apocalypse. They fight Apocalypse because basically Apocalypse wants to transfer his consciousness into Xavier's body, so then he can be able to reach out to everybody and essentially control all of humanity. So yeah, they basically they stop him, and then there's a big battle. Well, and they wind up killing Apocalypse. Movie ends with Mystique training the new recruit in the new X Men in the new Danger Room after Jean Grey and Magneto rebuild the Xavier School. So that's basically this movie. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff like the characters and all that. Now, here's the thing. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this movie was very average. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a good movie. It was just an average movie. The thing is, the destruction movies, the world destruction, and from both Apocalypse and Magneto. But when Apocalypse is ripping apart the city that they're in and to build his pyramid, and Magneto is basically casting his powers worldwide, is using the Earth's magnetic field to cause worldwide destruction. It just felt done before. It didn't feel original. It didn't feel great. It felt average. It's like something you would typically see. I mean, it's not atypical, because basically you see all sorts of stuff flying around on the air, but basically the destruction scenes in this movie, were just, well, average. There wasn't really any. I mean, yeah, he's destroying the world, but once again, and it didn't really feel very exaggerated. it just kind of it just kind of felt like it was something that I'd seen before, or nothing special. Well, and that's one of the things I think this movie got wrong is that even the fight scenes feel average. I mean, the big fight with Apocalypse at the end, where eventually all of his followers simply turn on him, even that felt average. Average. I mean, the art was pretty good, but where his followers in ancient Egypt betray him and bury him under the rock. But yeah, it did. That was a good part. Now, I will say though, there are some entertaining parts of this film. There are some parts that make you laugh, and all that. One of the best parts of my parts, besides Wolverine going on a murder spree throughout the facility, is basically the part where Speedy, again, I'm so sorry that I don't know his actual mutant name. He shows up and essentially saves everybody in the school, who will basically showing how that when he is going fast, as time can slow down, he can basically slow down time around him, and basically, I mean, that's pretty fun because it's all done to its sweet dreams are made of this, which I thought was awesome. But yeah, I thought, and so, oh yeah, sweet dream. That was pretty funny. Wolverine's killing spree he was pretty good. Excuse me. But then there are other things that it's kind of boring because it's like when they're back, and they get back from, well, actually, let me go back, like, the fight scene between Nightcrawler and Angel, both, I mean, they fight twice, once in the underground fight club, another at the end when they're battling the followers in Apocalypse. Yeah, the thing is, the fighting just felt average. It didn't feel like, I mean, yeah, granted, this isn't like Zack Ryder. He didn't have Zack Ryder on his score, and not like Batman v Superman, where the fight scenes are awesome, but still, it didn't feel like, yeah. I should say it wasn't a fight scene that I was interested in, even when they were fighting near the end of the movie. It still didn't feel like a movie that I could, like a fight scenes that you would be really interested in. I guess I should also mention that the characters. I mean, some of them you can get invested in, like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Kurt, but some of the others, like Angel, well, at least for me, I didn't really have any I didn't really have any vested interest in him. It wasn't. Well, I mean, they didn't really develop him. He was barely on screen for very long, but except at the end there. I will say, there, and so another thing I think this movie got wrong is that it has a tendency to be, if you're not good with following movies that change locations a lot with their scenes, you might not be able to follow this movie. This movie changes scenes from Egypt up to the United States, Apocalypse, Xavier's mutants, I'll call them. Yeah, it changes a lot. Now, another funny scene, is basically where we discover that the CIA agent and Charles and Charles Xavier they were what they once dated. So yeah, and basically Charles erased her memory, her memories of him when they broke up. But apparently he's looked her up occasionally, and he still has feelings for her. That was, and when they go into the CIA office, and Charles basically freezes everybody, and then they go just roll into her office, and he kind of stumbles a bit when introducing himself to her. Or that was funny. Although I do have to say, thinking back about it, it doesn't really show how him and Beast. Yes, Beast goes in there, er, and they in there, and so there. It doesn't really show how they get in there. Oh, and I should also mention that for the majority of the movie, Beast, well, I should say 50% of the movie, Beast is in his human form, even though he is still Beast. It's not like I'm sorry. I was just thinking of something I saw in the X Men cartoon. I think there was like some angle where he became a Beast. Beast in that one, but yeah. But for about 50% of this movie, from when we first introduced at Xavier's school to the part where he and other mutants get kidnapped, he is in human form. But then once he does get kidnapped, he turns back into his Beast form. So that was kind of weird. They never really explained that, and if they did, I missed it. I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry. So yeah, but the dialogue in this movie is just kind of boring and bland. And I mean, there is the part where Apocalypse choking out Mystique. Yes, there is the Heek. But the thing is, Apocalypse just isn't that interesting. I'm sorry, but he's not. Yeah, he has some cool. Well, yeah, I mean, he has some effective powers. That's where he basically when he's say in a storm, there's like 3 dudes there, or he breaks off dust from a wall and as like a jet to decapitate 3 dudes, which is kind of a cool effect, but yeah. But other than that, he's just not that interesting of a villain. And so, oh yeah, he's just not. I mean, I have to say, if there's one character here that I did, or that or I should say a few, there are any characters in this movie that I did feel was somewhat attached, or that I should say have a vested interest in, it was Xavier, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. And that's about it. And no, and not even Wolverine. Wolverine only really appears in a cameo. Oh, during his in the killings in the facility. So, yeah. All the other ones, Mystique. I mean, Mystique, you probably have some interest in because she's one who has the most. She has a lot of screen time. Although, I will say I did like. Well, actually, no. Nightcrawler. Not really interested in him. Angel, as I said, not really interested in him. Magneto. Well, so I mean, you can kind of, I guess you could get a vested interest in him because of how he basically develops into Magneto. Oh, he's basically hiding out as Eric in Poland, and then his wife and daughter are killed, and he basically becomes Magneto. But he's besides him and the other 3, he's probably the only one and I had somewhat of a vested interest in. CIA agent, I had no interest in because she doesn't really do much. much in this film, and she's not on screen for very long. Although I will say, the one person I thought was good in this film was Psylocke. Now I know that Psylocke is essentially a ninja with the energy blade, but I will say I think actress Olivia Munn, and yes, I looked it up, I know it's her, did a great job playing Psylocke. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody else didn't do a great job playing their characters, but I think Olivia Munn did a great job playing Psylocke. Too. Ooh, yes, I definitely think. Ooh. So yeah, basically, another thing I think, and then there's other parts where this movie kind of, and then there are angles where, I mean, another thing that I think this movie gets wrong is that there are angles that are never really explored in this movie. I mean, I think the scene switching is what really he kills it. Like the relationship between Scott and Jean Grey. Hey, that's never really explored. It shows them eating. Basically, he bumps into her when he first arrives, says hello to her, but there's never really any relationship explored there. We know that Speedy and his character, he is essentially Magneto's son, grown up, but he never tells him that, and that angle is never really ever explored. Maybe, who knows, maybe these are explored in a sequel, or maybe that's what they're trying to do, is set it up for a sequel. Well, if you stay till the credits, you'll see the end scene in there. You'll see a scene that definitely sets up for a sequel. But anyways, so that's one thing I think this movie gets wrong, is that they have all these have like the relationship between Jean Grey and all the other Magneto's son that aren't exactly explored a lot. I mean, I guess as they wanted to show off Apocalypse here, but I think they could have done a little bit more. Maybe explore the relationship between Cyclops and Jean Grey just a little more, before they, or I would have liked to have seen that hat. It's more about, this one was more about Apocalypse and them trying to stop Apocalypse. Yeah, which is the highlight of the movie, is the fight Apocalypse, especially during the end. Basically, what happens is they're fighting, and basically Scott and Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler are fighting hiding the are fighting are fighting the followers. There's the followers, and basically Nightcrawler's trying to get the Professor, and Jean Grey and Cyclops try to hold off Storm. Well, I should say Beast, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. I'm sorry, they're basically fighting. But once again, it's not. I don't think it's really explored that much, especially Storm. Storm, her screen time is very limited, and she doesn't really. And I just don't have that vested interest in her. Yeah, and unfortunately, I just didn't find the effects of her powers very interesting. Mainly because she doesn't use them barely at all. Like, she uses them to steal during the fight with Apocalypse, and that's about it. Basically, the choking out of Mystique is essentially what gets everybody to turn on him. Basically, everybody just starts blasting him, but Cyclops is too busy holding him up and hold them off. But essentially, after Nightcrawler rescues Charles, basically Xavier uses the fact that they're still connected to go into into Apocalypse's mind and fight him, but Apocalypse basically starts kicking his ass in the mental plane, and Xavier asks Jean Grey for help, and that's basically where we get to see Jean Grey unleash the Phoenix. Yes, the Phoenix, which, by the way, which is introduced sort of by. Basically, there is a scene where Jean is essentially having a nightmare and this is shortly after Apocalypse was released. She's having a nightmare at school while sort of burning up her room. There's no fire, but everything is basically being burnt. And she's basically having a nightmare where she's seeing the end of the world. And so, later on, we basically see her unleash her powers as the Phoenix when she basically goes into Xavier's mind. And it basically kicks Apocalypse's ass. And she's the one who helps who basically he lets everybody else blast him. And everybody else joins him except for Psylocke. She just walks away. Who knows? Maybe she'll show up in the next Deadpool movie. So yeah, but once again, it's kind of average. The fight, I have to say, is just kind of average because it's basically just everybody standing there blasting him, and him basically shielding him while flames are whirling around him. And it's, I mean, I guess if you're a mega fan of the X-Men, it might be good, but once again, the effects just feel average, and the fight with him doesn't really feel like a major fight. It feels like it's been done before, something that's been done before. Well, I shouldn't say done before, but it just feels so average. So, oh yeah, the fighting, and I should mention first the only real effects that I really liked in this movie were Speedy's ability to slow down time, Cyclops' laser eyes, which I thought was pretty good, and Havoc's powers. Other than that, that wasn't there. There wasn't really anything great, except for the Phoenix. That was kind of cool. Well, Wolverine, obviously, but everybody else just feels normal. Excuse me. Normal. Just feels average. Like I said, even Magneto causing worldwide destruction just feels average. Just feels like something you might see in Independence Day or another disaster movie, 2012 or what is it, The Day After Tomorrow. Or only instead of with weather effects, it's Magneto using the Earth's magnetic field to rip cities apart. But yeah, just kind of it felt average. And I hate to use the word average so much, but that's basically what this movie was. So, oh yeah, it was. It's just that's basically X Men Apocalypse. Final rating 5 out of 10, and not good, not bad, not good, but just a very, very average movie. So yeah, would I recommend the movie? If you're a hardcore or X-Men fan, I'd say yes. If you're not, I'd say maybe skip it. If you want to see these cities getting destroyed and the mutants fighting, I'd say yeah, go ahead. But other than that, I'd say if unless you're a big Marvel fan, and maybe leave this one alone. So yeah, there you go. X Men Apocalypse. It's 5 out of 10. And see See it if you're a Marvel fan. If you're not, leave it alone. Oh. And, well, that about wraps up for this video. My name is Second1814. Thank you so much for watching, and when to always be at your back. See you next time.